What's up, guys?
What's up?
Welcome back to BS Sports Talk live. First thing this morning, just for you guys.
Oh man, look, it has us in like the bottom corner
I
too.
know, when did that happen?
Ooh,
Whoa.
it's delayed. You're talking to you there.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So I guess should we wait a moment to see, get some people hopping on. I know it's first thing. A little bit later than we usually are. Sorry, I had some personal things going on, work schedules, stuff like that, so we had to push it back a little bit. But we want to make sure we got something out here for you guys.
That's right. We are here. Oh, man, week 7.
Yeah.
Man, we didn't even talk about not too much into like the AB signing.
Yeah.
Going to the Bucks.
Ooh.
Tom Brady gets another weapon.
Another weapon. I think the first week we can see AB is week 9.
I think it comes back after suspension week 9.
It'll be interesting, man, because Brady has that time with him from last off. Was it last off season he was with New England?
I think so.
So Brady has that already rapport with him that you can see he doesn't have with a Mike Evans, and that Godwin's not healthy enough to really have that with him just yet.
Yeah. Well, and that's where he said he met with like AB even before like even the football stuff started. Like he was over at Tom Brady's house. I feel like Tom Brady's playing that more like I can save him. I can save, that talent. I can save you. Come over.
Tom Brady will not have very many excuses as to why he can't win a championship in Tampa.
True. I saw what Matthew Berrigan said. He's a surefire top 10 must-start quarterback going forward.
Wow.
That's what they said. So I was like, man, I don't know if I'm quite that big on
I don't. I got to see what AB has left in him.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about for Tom Brady, not AB. So. But
I agree. I like
AB. I think is questionable.
Yeah,
because you're not sure what you're going to get. I mean,
he's
been out.
Mental state's at.
That's a big thing too. But even physically, like he hasn't been on the football field.
Yep.
I think obviously he's been working out, doing stuff like that. But we'll see. But if anything, I think it benefits Tom Brady the most. You got a fan there.
Yeah, he was desperate to join the show.
He wants to be on. He needs his airtime.
I'm going to go ahead and just let him be here for a minute. This is the guy. This is the brains behind the whole project. He's obviously camera shy. He wants none of it. But
I don't want
he was desperate today to be in there. So
But I mean, we'll see. I said I don't think I think it does take a little bit away from like the Godwin and Evans. Just from they're still going to get theirs, and there'll be big games from everybody involved.
So the two big recent signings, who would you rather have for your fantasy football team going forward? Antonio Brown in Tampa with Tom Brady, or Le'Veon Bell in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid's offense?
Good question. Just for right now, we haven't seen either of them play. I think I'd go with Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Just for a couple of reasons. One, Le'Veon Bell's been playing.
Right.
He's been on the field. Of course, he missed a couple games due to injury, but he's been on the field.
Agreed.
2, I feel like there'll be more consistent usage with Bell as opposed to AB. I think AB will be very up and down. He might have a couple games where he goes off, and then he might have a game where he has 2 receptions. Where I think Bell...
You've seen it from Mike Evans at this point this year.
I think Bell at least, at the minimum, is going to see 8 touches. I think even potentially more than that. Just in the passing game. I think he comes in, he's the third down back guy, which already, like Darrell Williams and stuff, was already taking that away from CEH anyway. And then, like you had mentioned, too, last week with the goal line carries, I feel like Bell... I feel like they'll be more apt to use a running back inside, like especially that 5-yard line.
You're not going to get as many Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes designed runs.
Right. I think Bell's going to be that guy. So if it's me right now, without seeing either of them play with either team, I'd go with Bell. For sure. Both with consistency and just pure level of
I think that's why I like Bell is consistency and running back depth in fantasy football with the injuries this year so far is tough. Plus, I think Le'Veon Bell is easier to get involved in the offense.
I would agree.
Now, Antonio Brown had some decent games with New England, but I think you'll get that still.
Yeah.
You'll get some decent games. But to be honest, and again, I haven't seen Antonio really play in 2 years. I don't know that he's better than Godwin or Mike Evans. I think they've solidified that they're going to run Ronald Jones. You have Leonard Fournette back. I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Fournette's back. That's a big one too this week.
It's going to be a fun situation, man.
So here's a good question: is this a sell high Ronald Jones situation? Because he's been looking great. I mean, really good.
Yeah.
But Fournette's been out. So.
I think it will very much so depend on your personal feelings. Because for me, I still like Ronald Jones, but they showed with Leonard Fournette in the offense that Ronald Jones was going to come off the field. And I don't think Bruce Arians is going to not use Leonard Fournette. He went out and made that signing. He's going to want to prove that he made the right decision in bringing in Fournette. Yeah. So for me, I don't know. I sold Ronald Jones in a couple leagues earlier because of the Leonard Fournette problem. It depends on the value. If you can get another borderline starting running back or a really nice, if you got somebody who's desperate in need of a running back and you can get a sexy player for it, by all means, I think you go for it. Because with the addition of Antonio Brown, I think they're going to throw even more. But I also think they're going to have to throw even more.
Ooh, we've already come in with Tua. Yeah, that's big. Yeah, that's big news there.
I think that it's Tua.
What do you think?
All right, so just my opinion. I liked what Fitzpatrick was doing. I love Fitzmagic. I think he's solid. He comes out, he performs. But if you're the Miami Dolphins, you might be, I think, 3-3. I'm going out on a limb there. I'm not 100% sure. I think they're 3-3. You're seeing what you have in Tua right now. You have a 3-3 team. You have Fitzmagic, who has been performing on that team.
Yeah. Has not looked bad.
I think, though, it's the perfect time to move into Tua. You're going into a bye week. You're going to get a whole week worth of training, or just getting himself acclimated with the ones. I think you pull this trigger. I actually look, Brian Flores and what he's doing with Miami is amazing. Dude is a phenomenal coach. Honestly, I know he's only 3-3. You got that. Coach of the Year talks. I mean, I know he won't get it because he's 3-3, but what he's doing with arguably some of the least talent possible, I think it's the right decision to move to Tua. See what you got. You're going into a quarterback-heavy draft. If you come out, Tua's a bust. You could consider moving on from Tua.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's time. I mean, even though they're 3-3, I think no one I think believes that Miami is going to be making a run for the Super Bowl this year. And it's, I feel like almost if it was just designed, just the way the call was, because Fitzpatrick was looking really good.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like they decided at the beginning of the season, hey, he hasn't had the training camps, with COVID and all that. So let's give him, the first 7 weeks, 7 weeks of the season.
Yep.
Practice, see what we got. Once we feel like he's ready, has the playbook down, ready to go, then we'll put him in week 7, week 8. So I feel like it was based on how it wasn't like Fitzpatrick had thrown 5 interceptions in that game, and they're like, all right, fine, it's time.
Yep.
I felt like it was more no matter what. I think Fitzpatrick was lighting it up, quarterback one. I feel like it's going to be 2 at a time. But I feel like that's who they're banking on to be their future.
If you're Miami and you see the success of Joe Burrow, and you see the success of Justin Herbert, and you see what it's done to revitalize those fan bases and the talk around the NFL for your team, you have to hope Tua comes in and does that. You have to see if you've also caught lightning in a bottle.
Right.
I think one of my favorite sports moments that I saw from last week was Tua got back out there in the game after he suffered that potential career-threatening injury to his hip, that he just went back out there, uniform on, and sat down on the 20-yard line and just took it all in that he got to play.
Yeah. But I think, it's Brandon was just saying right there, I think you just have to see what you got and why not now? Again, you're not making a run for the Super Bowl this year. Fitzpatrick, I love him, but he's not your guy to lead your team going forward forever.
Right. I agree.
So try it out. See what you have in Tua. Get him the experience. Just reps. NFL reps.
Yeah, that's key because my Washington football team, Dwayne Haskins has not got NFL reps enough.
Right.
Comes off the best game of his career and we bench him.
Right. That was interesting to me as well. I think that one, there's some underlying...
behind-the-scenes stuff for sure. I read a lot of reports, but of course, nothing's came directly from Washington. If Tua doesn't perform, it's almost a win-win for Miami, to be honest, because you're going to be like, oh, he's a rookie, we give him another year.
Yeah.
You boost that draft pick. Your Houston Texans draft pick is going to be top 10 potential. So you roll out and you go. What do? You go get him another wide receiver. Do you improve that offensive line? The defense has actually been a solid defense. You got Xavier Howard, Byron Jones back there. I think the defense is better than what I think most people think it is.
I'd agree.
So you go out and you get Tua, an offensive lineman. You go out and get him a Devontae Smith, a Jalen Waddle, an Olave, a Rondale Moore. You go out and you put other talent around him, and then you build with Tua. I think that, and if you go to the Chargers, you got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Eckler. They have talent. Hunter Henry. They have a lot of talent there. If you go to Cincy, you got Boyd, Green, Mixon. There's talent around Burrow. I think of the rookie quarterbacks. I like Devontae Parker.
Well, that's like you're kind of touching on it. I feel like it's not. There's talent there. I mean, like I said, I love Parker as a wide receiver. Gesicki has shown flashes of it. Gaskin hasn't looked bad at all.
No.
So you put another playmaker, get him somebody who's really explosive in there. Especially a guy where he doesn't have to launch it downfield. I mean, somebody like a Justin Jefferson or somebody like that, where you can just throw like a little 5-yard slant and break up for 60 yards.
I mean, get him a guy like Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel last week went 6 for 66 and a touchdown and did not catch one pass beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
all his touches were behind the line of scrimmage. Dude could have rubbed with the right. I agree. 100%. I mean,
1,000,000%. And then I said Parker, they said he's really good at going and getting the ball. So even if you're off a little bit, he can help you with that.
I could see, let's say Tua just looks good, not great, because he doesn't need to look great. I don't think he needs to look great. I just want to see what Tua's got.
Yeah.
If you got Denver invested heavily in offense this year with Judy and KJ Hamler to give Drew Lock all the weapons possible to succeed. Now injuries hurt Denver. But I see Tua could get a similar. You go get him a Rondale Moore, and then you get him another wide receiver piece, or you get him a running back piece. Now, look, Myles Gaskin has looked good. He gets a lot of volume. I don't know that Myles Gaskins is a game changer.
No, I would agree with that 1,000,000%. I think he's...
Don't sleep on just... Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think he was really good at the end of last year, too, and he's had a pretty solid season so far this year. I like him at tight end.
I like Gaskin, like I said, as a receiver back, change of pace. You get another, stud in there, but... how much does that help? I think Gaskin is good enough to do what they need to do
right now.
If you're trying to progress Tua.
Yes.
Just because you can give him the ball so many times, and he is viable.
Yep.
He's not terrible. He's not averaging 2.5 yards per carry. He can get the job done. He's not going to light the world up, but he can get it done. But you throw one more big playmaker in there in that offense.
Yep.
I like it.
I do like a Devontae Smith, Rondale Moore going in that offense. I feel like we need a power back. Yeah, I think so. You've got who's the back coming out of Alabama this year? Harris. Najee Harris.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a great fit in the system. Big back.
What do you think would be better for him in that offense? Do you think a solid stud, explosive running back, or a solid stud wide receiver? I would go wide receiver, just based purely on Tua.
If I'm going for Tua,
what would make him more successful?
I think that it would be a wide receiver that he clicks with, that he has, like you said, he can come off on a little drag route and then take it 50 yards. I think that's why Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, both coming from Bama, are solid options for him, because he has that built-in relationship rapport. Because you saw it benefit Dwayne Haskins with Terry McLaurin, and you saw it benefit Terry. Dwayne has that built-in rapport, so he gets him the ball.
I like it.
But I think that the luxury of having Houston's pick and your pick, you can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can go get a Micah Parsons potentially coming out of Penn State. to help run that defense. The defense is great, but that gives you another game changer. I think the future's bright for Miami, honestly.
So they have 2 number 1s?
Yeah, they have their own.
2 first rounds?
And then they have the Houston Texans, and the Houston Texans is, what, 1-5?
It'd almost work out better for them if Tua.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Tua was in, but doesn't do as great, and they kind of lose. You're just bumping those picks up.
As a fan, you don't ever want to see your team lose, but you see a benefit to seeing Tua come in, gets a chance to perform, and then still lose. We have 2 second runners. Yep.
Man, you can go wide receiver and running back, and in the second round, either way. You can go offense, defense, first round, offense, defense, second round, however you want to do it. But there's potential there. 4 picks in the first 2 rounds to, can you imagine?
That whole,
you get a good, explosive young running back to pair with Gaskin, but I would go first pick with that explosive wide receiver.
Let's not count out the
or
idea
offensive line.
of Brian Flores trading back, getting more picks, or trading a couple picks to move back up. I think I love what Miami, I believe 2/3. I love what Miami has going forward. I like that Devontae Parker's finally stepped up. I think you see that the problem in Miami, which I think anybody could have guessed, but players took a lot of the hit. Adam Gase was the issue. My God, look what he's done to the poor Jets. I mean, you got Ryan Tannehill, who looks like a franchise quarterback. Kenyon Drake's solid every week, has top 10 potential. Miami Dolphins, bright future. I enjoy what I see going forward. I think you got something there, Brandon Varney.
Yeah, I like it. I'm pumped about it.
Yeah.
I said it hurts me because I'm a big Fitzmagic fan.
Yeah.
I saw too where there was a post I saw was Fitzmagic and who's the other quarterback? But they were talking about so influential and underrated. Talking about no Pro Bowls or anything like that, but how many young quarterbacks they played in front of, showed them how to be an NFL quarterback. It's like that's a huge impact. I think it might have been. I can't remember the other guy's name. But just talking about how all these young quarterbacks, I think they've each paired together, played over 17 different NFL teams. And coached up all these young quarterbacks. It's like, man, that's a big impact. Well, you don't have the huge stats. It's like, what is your mark in on the game?
He's a professional, man. Fitzmagic is a professional. He's not the most talented guy, but he shows you how to prepare and play a game. I think that's something, that is very valuable for Tua to even, and I think the hard part was with this is how vocal that Fitzmagic was that it broke his heart to get benched. Yeah. Because he helped, I think, rebrand that team. He came in and he played his butt off, and he plays hard, and he plays semi-smart most of the time. I mean, heck, that boy's out there running, risking his life. I hope that at some point he'll get, another chance, but I don't know that at his age and longevity in NFL if it's going to happen, but I love seeing him start, and I love seeing him play. But you got to, keep him around for another season or two, because you always do have to worry about that hip with Tua. You got to worry about the health.
I'm just excited to see what Tua looks like.
Yeah.
After the injury, being in the NFL.
I agree.
What do you got? It could be anything.
I want to see if he's willing to scramble, willing to run. I want to see him after taking that first nice, low, big hit.
Right.
I want to see where his brain's at, how mentally tough and prepared he is. Again, being on a Brian Flores team, I feel like you're mentally prepared. He's one of those guys that came from the Belichick tree that I actually think's a legitimate good coach. He's not a Matt Patricia. He's not an Eric Mangini. I think this guy coaches his butt off, and I think players want to play for him. Yeah. So I think he'll have Tua ready. I'm excited for the Miami Dolphins.
Yep. All right. Do you want to just go ahead and get into the rankings?
Yeah. Let's jump into these QB rankings. He's the best leader for Tua. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yep. Yeah. I think he was perfect for Tua to be there. Yeah. He's a professional. He's smart. I love it. I think Tua's got a solid chance to be successful. So.
Yep.
Are we hopping into these QB rankings?
Let's do it.
All right. So you got your typical Russell Wilson #1, Mahomes 2, Kyler Murray 3 against Seattle. Man, Kyler Murray's been steady,
especially against that Seattle defense.
Yeah. And Jamal Adams isn't playing.
Josh Allen against the Jets. I think that's
4. Man, this is a perfect bounce back game for Buffalo. After the Titans and the Chiefs, you have 2 tough weeks back to back. You need to see Josh Allen back to back. You bounce back. You need to see Josh Allen start taking checkdowns and be okay with it. Yeah. I like Josh Allen. Kid's super talented. I think I want him to stop almost getting caught up in his hype. Because I don't feel as though he is willing to take that 5-10 yard gain as opposed to a 30-yard gain over and over again. But that'll come with time and progression as a quarterback.
I think if he's looking downfield and he sees a guy who's a really tight window 30 yards downfield, but he has a wide open check down, I feel like he's trying to force that 30-yarder. Instead of just taking what the defense gives him, he's like, I'm going to put this ball there. It's like, I don't know.
I agree. Then you got Deshaun Watson at 5 against Green Bay. I actually not sure I like that. I think Deshaun's good. Green Bay's defense is good. They got beat by Tampa pretty ugly. I think they could have a nice bounce back week. So let's see Deshaun. I'm not sold on him at 5. I mean, I'm not saying he's 20th, but I can see him falling outside the top 10. I just think
I would agree. I don't know if I'd have him as high as 5.
Yes.
I think lower. I think again a potential top 10, maybe 8 or 9.
Yep.
But that, and then with Rodgers, how about the other side again? I think he didn't have a great game, but I'm not worried.
And he's playing Houston, who I don't think Houston on defense is super sexy.
But Tampa Bay, that defense, we were talking about this when we got on. I feel like he's been underrated this year, not talked about as much. That defense has been pretty solid.
Absolutely.
Them and Washington, I think, have been pretty solid.
Washington's like one of the top pass defenses in the NFL. The problem is we give up big plays. I don't, But that Tampa defense, they've got speed, they hit, they're competitive, they're balling. I'm a big fan of Tampa Bay. Just in general, I think that I'm not going to take anything from that Packers Tampa game. Weather was horrible. Tampa got Ronald Jones going.
Tom Brady coming in at number 8 against Las Vegas. Here's a good, because I think Barry and them said this, we mentioned it earlier. Do you call BS or no BS on the statement? Tom Brady is a surefire must-start top 10 quarterback rest of the season. BS or no BS?
I call BS. Gotcha. Chances are, if you got Tom Brady, you're starting him, but I don't put him as a surefire lock. We've seen a lot of super teams get put together. We've seen a lot of super teams not be so great once they are together. Let's see the mentality of the team when they bring in Antonio Brown, and if he gets more touches than Mike Evans and Godwin. Let's see how Godwin and Evans feel. Let's see, because to be honest, for me, Tampa's not got a championship caliber. Like, they have that roster, but they don't have that mentality. I want to see if these guys that are just used to producing, who aren't used to winning, are okay with not winning, or with winning but not getting to produce. I think there will come a time where there's some turmoil in Tampa. I do think they'll lose. I also don't know that Tom Brady's talent is still up where it used to be. Just because you have all these weapons doesn't mean that you can still get it to all these weapons.
That and seeing how like Arians and all them, how I want to go about it. I feel like he's still been a little standoffish and saying Tom Brady's going to do it our way. I think, man, with these weapons, and again, with that, we've talked about it before. I don't think you brought Tom Brady in to mold into your offense.
Correct.
Especially with all these weapons, you just let him go. You got a quarterback like Tom Brady. It's like Peyton Manning. So you just say, hey, do what you do. Let me know how I can help.
And that's,
that
makes sense.
You just, with those two football minds, I just don't think as a coach, it's tough, especially if you're a coach or even especially an offensive coordinator. You're kind of take a back seat. You're like, listen, man, here's kind of the game plan we're willing to go with. You do what you need to do, whatever, based on what you see. I think if they let him do that with those tools, and if Arians kind of lets the reins loose a little bit and said, hey, Tom, this is your offense. What do you want to do? I feel like they'll be successful.
I agree.
But this week, I have Tom Brady in the league and Matt Stafford. I'm starting Stafford this week.
I think
against
so
Atlanta.
Too.
Atlanta,
is
just based on pure matchup, they give them the most yards. I think they're in the top 5 and giving up touchdowns. So I'm benching Tom Brady.
Raiders are also another surprisingly good team. Their defense played really well against Mahomes. That team, because this is another game I think.
Go Raiders! Look, that's what you're talking right there, Craig. Come on, Raiders.
Hey,
Brandon talking about the fight too. We might get to that.
Yeah, we might touch on that at the end. But with the Raiders, they're surprisingly good. John Gruden's again coaching his butt off with that team. You haven't had a steady number 1 wide receiver. You've had a steady Darren Waller. Josh Jacobs, again, I'm not blown away with. You got to have 30 carries to get you 80 yards.
Yeah, he's a tough one, man. We'll get in with the running back rankings coming up.
Yeah.
I like him, but I don't know, man.
Right.
I keep putting him in that top 10. I just don't know. I don't know if it's the offense, the way they're doing it, but yeah, 25 carries, three and a half yards per carry, we'll say on average.
Yep.
So yeah, he just needs that volume, fantasy football wise.
Yeah, fantasy football.
In those touchdowns. But let's see, other quarterbacks.
Tannehill at 11?
Against Pittsburgh.
Woo!
That's a tough one.
So this is one of those tests for Tannehill to let us see if he's in that.
I'm excited about this game. I think it's a test for that whole Tennessee offense.
Yep. Let's see if you're one of the top teams in the AFC.
Are you still going to air the ball out and A.J. Brown's going to go off and is Derrick Henry going to run for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns? Like, I think Pittsburgh this year, really the last couple of years, but especially this is a big test. So what do we really have with this Tennessee offense? Is it a beat anyone? You know, I think if they roll over Pittsburgh and blow them out, that offense looks, amazing.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking about a playoff team, Titans. How far can they go?
They made it, championship game last year and lost.
So I think it's a big test for them. I'm excited about that game to see how that defensive matchup against that offense. I'm excited to see how that turns out from just an NFL perspective, but even a fantasy football perspective.
Yeah, and just a fun game to watch. If you want some hard-hitting, physical, well-coached teams, that's your game. Guy I think has a chance to have a big week, rookie, Justin Herbert, playing Jacksonville.
Ooh, that's true.
He's ranked QB 12. I could see him easily sliding into the top 10, top 8. I don't like Jacksonville's defense. I like Justin Herbert.
Man, here's a good question. I'm in this situation. So, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Who do you start this week?
This week I roll with Stafford. He's playing Atlanta. Yep. Atlanta's defense is abysmal.
Yep.
Now, look, I do feel like you saw some, like they were rejuvenated last week having Raheem Morris coaching the team. The defense beat up on, Carolina? They play Carolina last week?
I'm trying to remember.
Ooh, because Julio had a big game. Oh, man, was it Carolina? No. Maybe go week 6? Because that's this week. Right there. Who did they play?
All right, here's
Yep, they play Carolina.
Yeah.
What?
That's week 5.
Yeah. Oh, Minnesota. Okay. Sorry. Carolina was 2 weeks ago. They played Minnesota. Now, I think that Matthew Stafford's a much better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. I don't see Matthew Stafford throwing 3 interceptions, but I do have to see him throwing for 300 yards.
Yeah.
Atlanta's going to score. Atlanta's going to score a lot. Atlanta's going to have big plays, and I think Matthew Stafford's going to have his first 300-plus yard game of the season with multiple touchdowns.
I dig it. That's where I'm at on it.
So, a couple guys down the list. Andy Dalton really disappointed me that first start. That whole Cowboys team looked awful. Zeke, multiple fumbles. I needed that last week. Worst game of his career almost, but I was playing him. Yeah, Drew Brees at 17. I don't even like him at 17. He's without Thomas. He's without Sanders. Carolina's a decent defense. You're going to really need Alvin Kamara to get 40 catches this game.
Both Sanders and Thomas out. I think it's going to be the Kamara show.
Yep.
Maybe Cook as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Traquan Smith. Maybe he goes off. But I think it's going to be the Kamara show for sure.
Definitely make sure you don't have Sanders or Michael Thomas in your lineup.
Yeah.
I had both. Let's just move on from those two for this week. Michael Thomas hopefully is back next week. I actually do not mind the caution the Saints are taking with him. They're playing for a bigger picture. Fantasy wise, they're hurting me. Real life wise, with fantasy's real life, sorry. Real NFL wise, great decision to not rush him back until he's 100%. Same thing Carolina's doing with Calf. Keep them out as long as you need to get them healthy.
It's just not worth the risk. When you're playing the long game. Well, I guess fantasy football, you're playing if it's a dynasty and stuff, you're playing the long game. But you just can't. I hate it when teams try to rush guys back. It's it's not worth it long term.
Right.
Let them get 100% healthy.
Agreed. And even with Thomas, he tweaked his hamstring. It was a minor tweak. They just decided it wasn't worth the risk. And I respect that. Good for them. Good for Sean Payton. cool, good for that team to be willing to hold out your superstar when you're needing wins just to make sure he's right when he comes back. So,
yeah.
All right, let's jump over to running backs. You're
RBs, yeah, I'm 100% okay with that.
All right, so you got 1 Kamara, 2 Zeke, 3 Derrick Henry.
I think, man, that is so, like, I never bet against Derrick Henry. Well, let's see what Craig got here. 4-2 without CMC, and I wish that Craig back up. I feel you, Craig. He's in the same situation.
Hopefully
here.
you got Mike. No, I'm 2-4. But I have Kath, I got Mike Thomas, I have Miles. My whole team's out right now. IR, buys, and killing me.
Yeah.
Kath, I think, is going to be back Thursday against Atlanta. I believe that is their decision because they have a Thursday game this week. They didn't feel like bringing him back from everything I was reading. They didn't feel like bringing him back this Sunday and make him have a bounce-back game against Atlanta on Thursday.
That's smart.
So they're going to start him Thursday from what I was reading. No setbacks, of course, as long as he checks out fine. So that way he plays Thursday, and then he gets a little bit of extended break to see how his body reacts to coming off such a long layoff. But I'm with you. Bring Calf back. I'd like my 28 to 30 to 40 points every week. I would like that back.
Yeah, especially with Davis going off. There's just no question. Even if, because there's been talk about what will CMC look like, even if he's 80%. 80% CMC is better than 100% running backs in the league.
He's special. Mike Davis put up like 10 points last week. He fumbled. Christian McCaffrey don't give you those headaches. Like, you're not getting that.
That's true.
But Derrick Henry against Pittsburgh, I think that's Devin Bush is out, so it'll be interesting to see what they look like without Devin Bush.
Yeah.
I like you said, I don't bet against Derrick Henry because he gets the volume.
Yeah.
At some point, he has to wear teams down. So
can you imagine trying to tackle that guy?
I would push
even
somebody
one
in front
time
of him first.
Let us like 25, 30 times that dude running at you.
Ask Josh Norman how it worked out for him.
Oh, not good.
Yeah.
That's a struggle.
He got thrown into next season.
Yeah. Again, like we talked about, I'm excited to see how that offense fares against that defense.
Yep, I agree. You got Aaron Jones at 4. No, that's just a situation to watch. As of Thursday, he had a calf strain. Yeah. Mild, but you never know how that progresses or flares up or if treatment's working for it yet. Mm-hmm. So hopefully if you're an Aaron Jones guy, you have a Jamal Williams, you have an A.J. Dillon. Most people will not have had A.J. Dillon on their roster still. He just hasn't been in the games much at all. But Aaron Jones, just monitor that situation going into Sunday.
Here's a big one. Josh Jacobs, number 9. Do you think he finishes top 10? BS or no BS, he finishes number 9 or better this week?
BS. I call it every week on this guy.
Every week.
Stop doing this. Stop it. Get him out of here. Look, I get it. You ESPN's rankings, you put him top 10. Every rankings does. The kid has to have 25 carries for 77 yards. He averages 3-something yards a carry. If he doesn't get touchdowns, he's a wash. Yep. I like Josh Jacobs. He's talented. He's good. But there's something missing there. Yep. Derrick Henry gets 25 carries. He's breaking you a 94-yard run.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs gets you 25 carries. He breaks you a 7-yard run.
Yep.
There's just something missing there with Josh Jacobs. And look, it's his second year. He may grow into it.
Yep.
Tampa's defense held Aaron Jones 10 carries, 15 yards. Weather was crazy. You can stack the line. If Aaron Jones doesn't get a touchdown last week, it's a horrible week for him.
Yeah, again, that Tampa Bay defense, I think, has been super underrated this year.
I
would agree with you. I do not like Josh Jacobs as a top 10 running back this week.
I'm tired of it. Quit it.
Or any week.
Quit doing this to me. Don't make me keep commenting that he needs to be outside. If you put him 11, I ain't even as mad, all right? Put him as 11.
There you go. Yeah.
ESPN, I'm about Matthew. Buddy.
Number 11 every week.
Yeah.
Here you go. What do you think about Rojo, number 11, with Fournette coming back? So he's looked really good without Fournette there. But Fournette's back in the picture. What do you think?
If Arians doesn't get too cutesy, which I think he does too often, Ronald Jones is 11 or better. I think Ronald Jones has shown. I mean, he's second in the league in yards after contact this year, only behind Derrick Henry. Yeah. I think Ronald Jones' upside is tremendous. I like Ronald Jones. I think he's better than Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette doesn't stay healthy. I mean, heck, he's a backup right now and doesn't stay healthy.
That's true.
As long as Arians doesn't mess it up, Ronald Jones is top 11 back, top 12 back every week. I think he's good. He catches the ball. Brady likes to check it down.
Yeah.
He's shown that he's going to run hard. we can't have him getting benched for fourth quarters for Leonard Fournette, though.
Right. I think that's what would be interesting. I think it all depends on usage. Because on the flip side of that, playing devil's advocate, I don't think they brought Fournette in not to use him.
Yep.
I feel like they knew what they had in Ronald Jones. Even with that, they still went out and got Fournette.
Yeah. Questionable decision made by Bruce Arians.
Yeah, I just don't know, especially with the weapons in that offense.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I think Fournette will definitely cut into the volume there. So is Ronald Jones still a top 15 back with 10 to 15 touches a game?
See, the other thing is, too, is LaShawn McCoy came back.
Ooh, that's true, yeah.
LaShawn McCoy cut into the receiving aspect of the game last week. Now, Ronald Jones still had a big game, but Shady was out there a lot. And again, that's another player that I feel as though Bruce Arians didn't bring in to not find him a role.
Exactly.
That's just what I see.
That's for me. So for me, I am a sell high on Ronald Jones right now.
Yeah.
I think the talent's there, but like you mentioned, based on McCoy was back, he cut into that already, and now you're going to have Fournette back, who's going to be part of the offense. He's not going to not get some touches. I just don't. I think he'll still do well with the touches he does get, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to be a top 15 back every single week. I just don't. I think there will be weeks to where he has a single digit games.
Yep.
But there'll be weeks, I think, where he goes off and breaks off, a couple of
big
30, 40-yard runs to where he does, get into that top 20. But I think, for me, if I have Ronald Jones, it's a sell high for me right now.
I'll still buy him from people because I like him.
I love him. I mean, the talent is there.
Roger's my guy. James Robinson at 13. That's a guy who... Against the Chargers D, that is a guy who I am not completely sold on with James Robinson. I've, been pretty vocal about it.
Yeah. An interesting one. So we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming in at the 15, which is interesting, but I don't hate it. Just because Denver gave up the third fewest points to running backs this year. And we got, the looming Le'Veon Bell coming in. No one really knows what his usage is going to be or involvement. I still am under the opinion Helaire is still going to be the first and second down back. I think Bell will come in and spell him for a couple of attempts. I feel like Bell is going to take over the role that Williams was there taking. He might get 4 or 5 carries, and then he's going to be the third down back.
Yep, he'll be targeted in the passing games. Short yard situation.
Yeah. Again, last game, or not this game, but the game before, Helaire, I think, was on the field for 1 third down.
Yep.
So I think Bell immediately comes in. He's the third down guy. Might even be the red zone guy. But I don't hate Helaire being outside the top 10, just with the matchup and to see what Bell is. I'm okay with that.
You got to rank him there for now just to see what they decide.
Even coming off that big game, he looked awesome. I mean, he looked
best game of his career too.
And he looked last week was what everybody expected out of Helaire. The speed was there, the vision was there, the tackle breaking ability was there. He looked good. He looked really good. So, which is another proponent for me. I'm not super, if you are an Helaire owner, I'm not super scared. Right now with Bell, just even if his touches go down, I feel like he's still going to be, it'll be enough to be relevant.
I don't know that you panic yet and make a trade on him.
Right.
Unless, if you're offered something sexy and somebody is panicking, it's like, ooh, maybe he's panicking, and so they offer you something strong.
Right.
I don't see you getting that in redraft leagues.
There's James.
Well, yeah, I know. Welcome back, Mr. Hinman.
Our number one fan.
I know. Skipped out last week. It's okay. We still love you. We got love in our block O for you. You see that? But, no, I think Helaire is somebody you hold on to.
Yeah.
Redraft league, maybe you could trade him.
Depending on what you get.
Right.
Like, I think I don't know if anybody would do it now, but there might be that Clyde Edwards-Helaire lover out there after that big game. Maybe they have a CMC, and CMC is injured. If you can get a deal where you make a trade for, this year, CMC for Helaire, I'm taking that.
I would too. I'm taking that in Dynasty.
I mean, 100%.
I'm
saying if somebody is, there's a big Helaire lover out there.
Especially in redraft leagues, knowing Cash coming back, because you will not question what he's going to get. But I definitely say go pull that trigger. If you can get, do you do in a redraft league a James Conner Helaire situation? Because Conner's been super solid, super consistent. and you're not questioning his role on the team anymore.
Right.
Mike Tomlin was not lying to anybody when he said my boy was going to be the bell cow. So
that's true. Yeah, there's potential there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for redraft leagues, I don't hate that.
Yeah,
I
definitely like it. When we refer to redraft, just redraft means leagues that change out every year. I know a lot of people haven't done Dynasty.
Right.
Not everybody does redraft type leagues.
Yeah, normal league to where you have your team, and at the end of the season, it's wiped out slate, and you completely redraft a new team the next year.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Anybody else? Running backs.
Devin Singletary at 19.
I think it's tough. I mean, they're playing against the Jets, but Moss is there. They both didn't look good last week. I'm just not big on Singletary this year. I don't know. Moss hasn't looked great either. So I think this is a time to see for both of those backs what you have. If they both don't perform, man.
Agreed.
Yeah, they were kind of in on the bell. Some mistakes they were trying to get in there just from what they've seen. Again, with Moss, he's been injured. Hasn't had a lot of attempts. And now he's back. I'm interested to see. I think this is a game. I think they both have to have strong games. If they both have lackluster games, starting to question that running back situation as a whole.
Yeah.
In Buffalo.
I agree.
Interesting one here. Justin Jackson at 17 against Jacksonville.
Ooh.
I think he has potential. This is me. I've been a Justin Jackson guy, especially like he looked last week. I think he has potential to be top 10. So yeah, I think it is. I think he has the potential to go off, be a top 10 guy. Looked really good last week. Josh Kelly is kind of like off and on. I just don't think he's looked great. And Jackson, I think, took over last week. I mean, I love the way that guy runs the ball, the speed, the power.
This is what you had been saying he was going to be all year.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. I think he does well. Again, I think he goes off until I think he's going to be a top 20 running back. Until Eckler comes back, and then we'll see. Maybe, depending on how he does, is it that 1-2 tandem like Gordon and Eckler were? Eckler gets back to being the primary receiver, gets 5 or 6 carries, and then maybe Justin Jackson gets those 10, 15 carries.
Because I believe they showed you they like him over Joshua Kelly.
Yeah, I think last week's game was a for sure.
Yep.
I think they were trying to split it even 50-50 most of the way through the game. It was, and then you just saw it. I mean, through the eye test. I mean, you just look, and you're like, man, Justin Jackson clearly looks like a superior running back.
Just looking down, I mean, I'm looking down through the rankings. I'm not even seeing Joshua Kelly right now in the top 50. Maybe I'm over. No, he's 25. Okay, 25. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. I like Josh Kelly. He just hasn't looked great yet.
Right. And he's not carrying an injury. He doesn't have an injury listed beside him. He's not questionable.
Yeah, so we'll see. Going forward. But I think Jackson goes off this week, for sure. Let's see who else we got. Let's do DeAndre Swift at number 20.
Yeah,
from Atlanta.
Yeah, couple guys back to back. You got DeAndre Swift. You got Kenyon Drake. Those are both interesting cases to me. Kenyon had that huge week. DeAndre Swift had a huge week. It just depends, man, because I feel like. Again, I've complained about this cat all year. Matt Patricia wants to be Bill Belichick, and he's not. Quit it. Like, you have a surefire thing in DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
I don't need you to stop being... I need you to just stop with the nonsense.
Yeah.
Just quit, dude. Like, I'm not even saying for fantasy perspective. I'm saying for real life.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, he's better than Peterson, who's the ageless wonder. He still runs well. They're both better than Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift needs to be your starting running back going forward, and he needs 20 touches a game from here on out.
Yeah, just pure with that offense. I feel like he's their best weapon. You just got to get the ball in his hands. So rush him, receive him. He's been getting looks in the receiving, but I look him to had a great week last week.
Yep.
I think he does. I think Gainflow this week being their primary pass catcher, and the last 3 weeks, I believe, Adrian Peterson's usage percentage was like 80-something percent, 50-something percent, and then a 30% last week.
Yep.
So I think, and then each week, Swift's has been going up. So I feel like Swift is really making his case, especially after last week, to be more involved. And against Atlanta, I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game, and he's their primary receiver back. So I feel like I'm in on Swift this week.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big Swift guy. I drafted Swift, traded Swift. I'm a big believer in him. His talent is through the roof. He was great at Georgia. Matt Patricia quit. If I could fire you, I would have fired you last year.
But I like Swift. I get it. It's coming in the draft. Swift was between him and Dobbins. Swift was I would give Swift the edge. He was my favorite back.
I would give Dobbins for me the edge running.
Yeah.
Swift caught the ball better.
Yeah.
Now I think part of that's usage at Ohio State, but Dobbins to me was a better runner. Swift was a better. I do everything.
Yeah.
Elaire was similar. He did, but Elaire wasn't a guy's name you heard a lot until the draft. I mean, he just wasn't.
Elaire moved up to me. I liked Elaire, but I still wasn't huge on him. I think it was just situational. Going to KC. I think Swift in KC. I like that even better.
I think Swift in KC is better than Elaire in KC.
I would agree. I think just with how they would use him,
his speed.
Yeah, and I think he would be a little better in those shorter yardage type.
Catching the ball, he definitely is better.
Yeah, I think he can do more. So far, Larry's had some uses in the past game, but just hasn't translated.
Right.
Hasn't exploded off like everybody thought it could have been.
So what about Gio Bernard at 23?
Ooh, no Joe Mixon.
I still don't know that I love Gio at 23. I think he's projected almost 15 points.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's not a game changer. I mean, the only way I think he's even that high is if he catches 7-8 passes.
Yeah.
And do I know that they make sure that they do that? I don't.
It's a risky move. Especially for like an RB, like if you have him and say you had maybe you had both. Maybe you had Mixon and then Gio as a handcuff. Man, I just don't know if I like Gio as an RB2. Maybe the flex.
Yeah.
Put him in as a flex.
It really just depends on your options of who you're starting over him. So, do I start a Gio or Kenyon Drake? I'm Drake.
I would say Drake, yeah.
Because the volume's there. I'm not Singletary over no one. J.D. McKissick or Gio. I feel like J.D. McKissick has carved his role out at the Washington football team. It's 10 to 14 points every week. He's catching the ball. He's running the ball.
Yeah.
I almost lean towards McKissick, and the reason I say that is because you know what he's going to get. I don't know what Cincinnati's going to do with Gio.
That's true.
I could see them coming out and throwing it 50 times again against Cleveland.
Could, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
if they get behind early.
James, what about my guy Brian Flores making moves? Man, you missed us earlier talking about it. We love it. I love Fitzmagic. We love Fitzmagic, huge fans, but it's two a time. Yeah. Let's see what you got.
It's a good time. Yeah. Like we talked about.
You got a whole bye week to prep him. You're looking at 2 great draft picks if he is bad, and then you still got a good draft pick and a great draft pick,
The more we talk about it, the more excited I get for that offense.
Yeah.
Especially after this upcoming draft. If they go out and get that kid 1 or 2 explosive weapons, a running back and a wide receiver.
Absolutely.
Man, that offense has potential.
Yep.
For sure. So, let's see.
The other running backs. Malcolm Brown has a chance to be better than 39 because Henderson just got put on the injury report.
Yep.
Don't like Frank Gore at 36 because I just don't like Buffalo. I don't like the Jets. But plus they're starting P. Ryan.
Yeah, I think after that, go into the rest of the rankings, get in the 30s. There's nobody that's super jumping off at me there. So you want to move on to wide receivers?
Yeah, let's jump over to wide receivers.
Let's do it. Hopkins at the 1 against Seattle.
You can't go wrong.
Can't argue that.
Yeah.
Dude's been a stud. Seattle's defense has been terrible.
Yep.
I think he goes off. I have no problem with him being at.
Absolutely. Devontae Adams at 2. So, and this is interesting. And not a lot of people, his hip is done. Joking.
We'll see. It'll be interesting to see. We were talking about that.
Alex Smith survived.
That's true.
But he's got to be careful because the hip, it was a very serious injury Tua went through. Scared for him a little bit. I do think it's a tough game to come back into. They're a good defense.
Well, like we said, even if he does perform poorly, that just helps your draft picks out to get him weapons. So I think it's a win-win situation for them as long as Tua doesn't get re-injured.
Yes.
That is the only scary part about it.
I almost think, and I hate to jump back in this, you need to see if he's going to get re-injured.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question. I don't even think they're worried about how he'll perform. You know, if he comes in and has 150 yards and 2 interceptions, I don't think they're scared.
They're not scared.
I think the biggest focus will be seeing how he takes those first hits.
Yes.
And how he holds up.
Where is his mental game at? That is going to be the most key point to Tua, because I think talent-wise he's there. But
a while since he's played
I also don't think Brian Flores will be scared to pull him back out if he has 4, 5, 6 bad games. I really don't. I think he'll go back to him, because no matter what with Brian Flores, as much as they tried last year to lose, he's not willing to try to lose. I just don't think he is. So, but Devontae Adams at wide receiver 2. Bradley Roby is quietly having a great season. He has shadowed multiple wide receivers. He will shadow Devontae Adams. I can't ever say don't have Devontae in your top 3, 4, 5, because I think he's that good.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see that matchup. If they shadow him, if they have a bounce back week, if Rodgers isn't. Yeah, I like Adams as well. But if Adams, I think Adams and Rodgers need to have that bounce back week this week.
Let's see who we got. You got Julio at 3, Diggs at 4, Metcalf at 5. I like all those, especially the matchups: Detroit, Jets, Arizona, respectively. I like all the
Metcalf. They're saying is going to be shadowed by Peterson, so be a nice test for Metcalf. Let's see how good you become, Metcalf.
A lot of good matchups this week.
Yeah,
like player to player.
Agreed. You got Keenan Allen at 6, should have a big week.
Yeah, against Jacksonville.
You know, I like it. I mean, he's a little bit finishes a little bit higher than that. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
You got Calvin Ridley at 7, Kenny Golladay at 8. Kenny Golladay so far this season put up a decent season. He's not getting a ton of yardage, but he's scoring touchdowns and getting 5, 6 catches. I think he's only played a handful of games. I like Kenny Golladay. 8 might be a little rich, but I don't hate it. You got Tyreek Hill at 9. Man, he always torches Denver. We have A.J. Boye back, so hopefully he can help kind of contain that. Our defense has actually been really good this year.
You got Lockett at 10. That's a good one. So, do you think Metcalf, Lockett, both top 10 against Arizona this week? BS or no BS?
Ooh.
Both finished top 10.
So, actually, I want to say not BS.
I think that.
And the reason I think so is because, and now I'm jinxing him, I apologize to all of you. That game will score a lot of points. Arizona will score. Seattle is going to score.
Yeah.
The only way that they both don't finish top 10 is if Seattle gets up very big quick.
Yep.
Which is possible because Kyler has turned it over. They have had some stalled out drives, and then they come back to win late. For me, I like it. And I guess I shouldn't be if. I like it, though, if Russell Wilson's having to go tit for tat with Kyler Murray.
Right. I think it depends on game flow. I think if
absolutely.
it's a very high, if Arizona's offense is doing what you would expect them to do against that defense, I feel like they both can easily finish top 10.
Even if it's like 28 to 35, something like that, I see them both being up high.
Yeah.
Thought that with the Bucs and the Packers. The weather took a huge impact on that game.
That was unfortunate. I was so excited for that game, and the weather just kind of ruined it.
The wind was blowing just like it was uncontrollable. Like if you were watching it, it was nuts. Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw lame duck passes. He doesn't throw passes without power. But he was struggling to throw into that wind. Even Brady didn't have very many passing yards. It was like 160 something. But I agree. Game that I thought was going to be big time wasn't big time. I was very upset with that. So going down the list, you got Allen Robinson at 11. That's tough. Jalen Ramsey will probably shadow him. I don't know though. The Rams haven't done that as much this year.
As far as shadowing him, their best receiver.
They're just putting him on a side, telling him cover a side. He will shadow near the end of games.
Yeah.
But he hasn't shadowed the whole time. So
I think there's potential there.
Yeah.
You got to beat the 11. I don't hate that.
A.J. Brown at 12 against Pittsburgh. Godwin at 13. Robbie Anderson at 14
against New Orleans. Whew. That one will be an interesting one. I think that Robbie Anderson has shown that he's here. He is fantasy relevant.
Showed everybody what people thought his potential was in the Jets.
Right.
But again, Adam Gase goes anywhere and it just ruins players.
Yeah, true. So I don't hate that.
Terry McLaurin at 15. That's about where he's ranked season-wise in PPR formats as wide receiver 15.
And playing against Dallas.
He's playing against Dallas, which they don't have a good defense. I mean, they called me to suit up, told him back certain this weekend. You know, gotta take it easy. But Terry McLaurin 15, I actually think has a chance to have a much better week. BS or no BS. I'm a big fan of Scary Terry. Kyle Allen threw to him 12 times last week.
I like it.
So I like Terry to exceed that.
Yeah.
Will Fuller is 16. He's going to have to be better if they
go win.
If they're going to win, Will Fuller has to be better. Amari Cooper is 17. He's like wide receiver 5 or 8 on the season. Is that an indictment on Andy Dalton?
Man, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I feel like
Yeah.
It's just still too early to call with Andy.
Yeah.
Who is he gonna go to? I think especially against that Washington defense
that's been solid
and that pass rush. I mean, if they're gonna have to throw the ball 50 times, I mean that's gonna be.
Most of Amari Cooper's stats were put up in the fourth quarter last week.
Yeah.
Now Washington's susceptible to the big play. So the problem for me with that is that's A, not Andy Dalton style, but B, that's more CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Because Washington's like worse in the NFL of 20-plus yard plays. Crazy, because our defense is pretty good. Our defense, it's not the playoffs. Andy should be all right. He should be.
That is true,
yeah.
James.
But
That's so true.
But it was like it was the game of the week or something like that. I don't know if it was the game of the week, but it was on prime time, I believe. Andy Dalton just don't play well if the lights are on. You need to just tell him, hey, there's no camera crew here. This is just like practice. You're good to go, bud. And Andy Dalton might show up. Amari Cooper, though, at wide receiver 17, that's no love right there. And to me, that's the indictment on Andy Dalton, not Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Because Amari Cooper's been pretty good.
Well, they got CeeDee at 30.
Wow.
So I like CeeDee Lamb better than 30.
I like CeeDee Lamb top 20 because of his big playability.
Yeah, I'll call BS on CeeDee at 30.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's,
I'll be honest, he's going to get Ronald Darby probably a decent bit, or Fabian Moreau. I honestly can see Michael Gallup having a nice game tomorrow.
Yeah, potential.
I just don't like. We give up big plays. Washington football team gives up big plays. CeeDee Lamb is a phenomenal wide receiver so far.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tyler Boyd at 18 against Cleveland. Joe Burrow and him are going to win. It's bigger. He's got to have better than that.
Has to. If they want to win,
Yeah. I agree. Then you got Mike Evans at 19. Man, they're starting to show him no love, which is fair.
It's true. Again, I think with AB coming in the mix, but it doesn't affect this week.
Right.
But I feel like, it's just tough with that offense.
Yeah. This is a good week, though, for me to see where Brady's going to be at with Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And I say that because everybody's back. You have Godwin. You've got Fournette. If he relies on Evans a little bit this week, because Evans cannot be the primary guy guarded this week, it'll be interesting to see because the Raiders will not game plan against him.
Well, it is like I was talking about earlier. Interesting stat. I think in the last 24 games, with Godwin and Evans in at the same time, they've never had 1 week where they both finished top 20. So then you add AB to that mix. You still Gronk's coming in.
Yep. Gronk's really looked good.
Fournette's back. I mean, it's McCoy's there. I think there's just so many options in that offense. It's tough for them. They'll all each have their games, but I think it's gonna be tough for all 3 wide receivers to have consistent top 20 games.
This is a fantasy question. Sorry, I leaned forward on you guys. I have Hawkinson in flex over Ruggs. Can't ever start. Sorry, it went away there. So, do you play T.J. Hawkinson over Corey Davis, and do you play T.J. Hawkinson over Henry Ruggs? That's tough. That's a good question. So the upside for me, the biggest upside is Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
T.J. Hawkinson against Atlanta could have a pretty decent game.
Yeah, that matchup alone. I feel like could be.
Especially, so the hard part too is right now the entire offensive line is in COVID protocol for the Oakland Raiders. So
that's a tough one.
Will Carr have time to get the ball out? Will the running game be effective? I feel that Davis is going to be nice. I really like Corey Davis. Corey Davis has had a good year this year. Even though he was out with the COVID, so it's hurt his his average and whatnot. Corey Davis has had a really good year with A.J. Brown in and with A.J. Brown out.
Yeah. Again, that'll be another interesting thing to look for this week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
There's so many people you want to see in that game.
So to help Craig out, so who do you go with? Do you go with Ruggs? Do you go with Hawkinson? Or do you go with Corey Davis? I think Corey Davis is your safest pick. I think he's your safest bet to get you 10 points.
Yeah, I think he has the highest floor.
Yes. Hawkinson is due a big game. He's, like last week was like 2 for 17 and a touchdown. Peeps are sleeping on Titans. I agree, James. Titans are a great ball club.
I like
this is a phenomenal test, though, to see if you're in that upper echelon still.
Yep.
Ruggs, to me, has the highest ceiling. Because he might catch 2 for 80 and a touchdown, 3 for 120 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't hate Hawkinson though over Ruggs.
To me, if it's me, I think I go with Hawkinson, just based purely on the matchup. I mean, Atlanta giving up the most yards and in the top 5 in touchdowns. It's going to be a high-scoring game. That Detroit defense doesn't look great. I would probably go with Hawkinson there. I think he's due for a big game.
I kind of actually tend to lean that way as well.
And I agree with you. I think he's a good middle pick.
Who's your starting tight end? Oh, you have Waller. Okay.
Yeah, Waller's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that Hawkinson is in the middle there.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Ruggs I think has a higher ceiling.
Davis with the
safest floor. I think Hawkinson's in between. I don't think he's going to have a terrible game, but he has the potential to have a really, really good game.
And he's ranked tight end 7 this week, which is fairly good.
Yeah.
I think Hawkinson's a pretty solid play there.
Yeah. I would go with Hawkinson on that.
Yeah, 100%. So what's next, wide receiver wise?
Let's see. We got Crowder at 18. I'm talking to him. He gets Buffalo.
It's interesting because Sam Darnold will be back.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. DJ
Moore. Yeah, I like Crowder.
21. It depends. If Lattimore's shadowing him, that's fine. If he's not and Lattimore goes to Robbie Anderson, honestly, I like both their chances in this game to be good. New Orleans' defense hasn't been as solid, I think, as I expected it to be. I don't feel like Lattimore has been as good as I expected him to be.
Yeah.
Then you've got Robert Woods at 22. Look, Cooper Kupp at 23.
I think against Chicago and that pass defense, they're both there. They're both around that 15 to 20 range.
Agreed.
So, I don't see them lighting up top 10.
No.
There's potential, at any game with the volume they see.
Right.
But I feel like it's similar to last week.
Yep.
They'll both have around 60 to 80 yards apiece, and one will get a touchdown.
And Chicago has 2 really good cornerbacks right now with Fuller and Johnson. They are playing good defense. Buffalo's kind of struggling a little bit. The perfect game for Buffalo to come back to after playing they got destroyed by the Titans and beat by the Chiefs. The Jets are great.
There's 2 tough weeks, man.
Yeah, you're coming back against the Jets. It is the perfect week for you, but you come back motivated, hang 45 on the Jets. Everybody's expecting it though, so don't get trapped. Looking at it, you've got Odell at 24 against Cincinnati, and then Chase Claypool right there at 25. So Odell, what do you think? 24 against Cincinnati?
Man, I feel like he has potential to boom that.
That's the problem, man. OBJ, when he looks good, still looks great. Like when he's on it.
Yeah.
OBJ is solid.
I think the worst thing for OBJ is the quarterback. I think the worst thing for the whole team is the quarterback.
Yep.
You gotta go out and get somebody, man. Like I said, it's just tough. I don't know. You never want to give up too early on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sold on Baker even coming out of college. Now, if Baker was a different type of player in college, then I would be more like, stick with him. But I just have never felt like his style of play, that run out of the pocket, run around for 8 seconds, and then throw a ball across your body 40 yards downfield. It's not going to work in the NFL.
I think OBJ's better with Joe Burrow than what he is with Baker Mayfield.
I would agree 1,000,000,000%.
It's not close.
Yeah.
Baltimore. I would love to see Baltimore have a guy like OBJ.
Yeah.
Because Lamar Jackson has no real legitimate wide receivers. Marquise Brown's good, but he's not scaring you. But OBJ in the right situation, I think, is top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, I think the talent is definitely still there, and we've seen
his
it.
explosiveness there. Baker just misses him. Like, and maybe it's because he's short. He got accustomed to Mike Evans. I don't know what it is. Look, it wasn't Mike Evans. I'm sorry. But I don't know what it is with Baker. There's just a disconnect between him and Jarvis. Just Baker's disconnected from that receiving group.
Yep, it's a tough one.
Chase Claypool at 25. He's a nice surprise at wide receiver. If you watched him at Notre Dame, though, you're not super shocked. He was a baller.
Yeah, I love his talent. Here's a good one. Who scores more points from this week to the rest of the season? Juju Smith-Schuster or Chase Claypool?
Chase Claypool.
I would agree. I didn't think you were going to snap through there, but I agree with you on that snap call.
Choo-choo train's out for Juju. He's gone.
I feel like the writing on the wall.
I ain't on that train anymore, bud. Yeah. You're not getting re-signed by Pittsburgh. I'll just let you know now. Start finding you a home. Maybe move back out to L.A. Go to the Chargers. Go to Vegas Raiders. The other problem is Juju's had a knee injury the whole year that he's played through. Because he's on a contract season, I think that actually is hurting him because he can't do. Juju's a great route runner. Juju's deceptively quick, but Chase Claypool's a man. Like, he's fast, he's tall, he's big, he's physical. Juju, and here's a kicker. And Juju seems like a sidekick. I agree, but he won't be the sidekick with Deontay Johnson back. And the reason why I say that is before Deontay Johnson got hurt, he was leading the team in targets every game. Now, does that hurt Claypool or does that hurt Juju? I think it hurts Juju.
Yeah.
Good deal. I'm glad you made it. Thanks for letting me know. I believe Chase Claypool is your big play wide receiver. He is your Plexico Burress with speed.
Yeah, you get involved in the running game with those rushing touchdowns. From a fantasy perspective, you're loving it. Kids catching the ball, running past people, running for touchdowns. Like, I'm in on Chase Claypool.
I agree. 100% Chase Claypool. I got him in a dynasty league. I'll hold on to him. I've been offered Juju for Chase Claypool and declined it.
Yeah,
relatively fast.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Where's the cat, Tyler? To be honest, he made a cameo earlier.
He
held
did.
Him up. He was in the video.
He got some airtime.
Yeah, he was in it. He wanted people to know that he's the brain that runs the place. He's operations manager. You missed him, buddy. You got T. Higgins at 27. He's slowly climbing those rankings.
Yeah, I think the connection with him and Burrow is just only going to get better.
I agree, and he's looked good. He's running, and I think he only benefits even more the more AJ Green improves. If AJ Green, because AJ Green had a nice bounce back week against the Colts. He found the opening. He looked quick. But Joe Burrow wasn't overthrowing him. All you Bengals fans that want to get mad at me, Joe Burrow was overthrowing AJ Green a lot. You can be like, oh, he wasn't wanting to go for it. Blah, blah, blah. No, he was overthrowing him a lot. It was just a disconnect between him and Burrow. That last week, Burrow's hitting him in the numbers and AJ's catching it. AJ's getting you first downs. AJ's getting you, 17 fantasy points last week, something like that. AJ Green is still very talented. Would like for my Washington football team to come and knock him. But not for a first-round pick, but like a third.
Right. Now, here's the big one. Tre'Quan Smith at 40. I don't know about that. I mean, I think he's the number one wide receiver.
He's the number one wide receiver, but
he's not the number one option.
He's not going to be the number one option because it's Kamara.
Yeah.
I still think Jared Cook will have a better game than Tre'Quan.
I would agree, but 40?
40's rough. I
think he does better.
35, like 25, 30ish range.
I would
maybe.
put him in the 25, 30ish range.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. There's nobody else to throw to.
Yeah. I mean, you have to throw to somebody else besides Cook and Kamara.
Yeah.
And I like him a lot better than 40 this week.
I like AJ Green better than 37. But I'm jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
All right, James, buddy, enjoy shopping. Tell the wife I said hello. I appreciate you jumping on here with us today, brother.
Yeah, man.
We're wrapping up almost anyways, anyhow. Yeah, you got Henry Ruggs right here at 46, Craig. I don't know if you're still here. They ain't high on him either.
Yeah.
Especially with that line being out. I mean, you got Ruggs right here behind Tim Patrick, behind a Michael Thomas who's out.
Michael Thomas isn't going to play and he's going to score more points.
Yeah, he's behind Jarvis Landry, Jerry Jeudy, Chenault. Ruggs is down that list.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, you'd be in a lot of trouble. No ideas, Miranda. I'm sorry. He's not a Buckeye fan, hon. He's a Florida Gators fan. So,
oh, man.
I know. So you want to, I think that wraps it up on our wide receiver talks.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about the fight real quick?
I'm down with that. I don't know if Daddy's still in here. No, I have to message him.
Daddy left. But he, we
can bring him in. Bring him in on the thing. Tell him to log in. We can do, if he logs back in, we can do the thing there. You can get a hold of him.
Yeah,
man. Big fights this week.
Great fights. But they start at 2:00.
That's interesting.
I don't like it. Abu Dhabi. Like, now, Dana White's commenting, and guys, all of our fantasy fans, this is no longer fantasy related. I apologize.
It's sports talk.
This is sports talk.
Sports talk. We're talking about sports.
This is one of our passions. We love MMA. We love the UFC. Dana White put it on at 2:00 so that way Khabib has a huge Russian European fan base. That way it was at a better time than 3:00 in the morning for them. I don't care about them. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm going to have to miss part of this fight card. Okay, Dana?
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it. But yeah, you just look at this card. The fights are good. You got Struve versus Tuivasa. You got a nice rematch with Anklov and Kutalaba, who it got wrongfully stopped before. Dude was playing possum stand-up war, and the ref stopped it because he didn't like the way it looked. But let's just not even wait around. Let's just
go to the money shot.
Khabib versus Justin Gaethje.
Who you got? Just right now. Who you got? Who's winning?
Justin Gaethje.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I have been a Justin Gaethje guy since PFL. He's one of my guys. I'm sorry, Justin.
Yeah.
I think Gaethje has the style to cause some problems for Khabib.
I can dig it.
If Khabib can't get him down by the fence, he won't hold Justin Gaethje down. Justin Gaethje is an all-American wrestler. He's wrestled his entire life. He was a decorated collegiate wrestler. Here's the thing. Justin Gaethje don't wrestle. He uses his wrestling to avoid wrestling to sleep guys.
Yep.
Khabib showed his susceptibility to want to strike with Conor, with Ally Quinte, Dustin Poirier. If he wants to strike limited bases, period, I don't care what it is with Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje has the power to put you to sleep with one punch.
I just hope it happens. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I think it's definite potential there, you said, especially with the wrestling background, to kind of keep Khabib off with him. Khabib has shown if he can't get you down, he does want to try to trade to set up the takedowns. That power with Gaethje.
So here's crazy. I think Justin Gaethje will try to wrestle Khabib.
Man, really?
They talked about him and Trevor Whitman that there's a secret weapon they were going to use against Khabib.
Yeah.
Does Gaethje try to take Khabib down? He's got the potential.
That is an interesting take, though. Because who's tried to do that? I think everybody he's ever fought has tried to avoid it.
Yeah.
So he's always been on the offensive.
I don't look at him as having like this phenomenal jiu-jitsu game. Does Gaethje employ what he's never done before? He's going to leg kick the crap out of him. That's what he does. Yeah. He'll break your leg. He'll break your face. But does Gaethje decide, I'm going to take this guy down? Because
that is interesting. I like that
Tony Ferguson fight, he changed up everything he'd ever done. Justin Gaethje was tossed into the wind. I'm throwing a million miles an hour. He was never leveled. He was never cool. He was never calm and collected. He just came out and brawled you.
Yeah.
But against Tony Ferguson, he was calculated. He got hit once. He goes back over to the corner. His coach is like, what are you doing? Are you having fun? He's like, I'm effing loving this. After getting dropped, he's like, all right, slow back down. Trop's trying to kill him with every punch.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah. That is an interesting take, though. Yeah, how many times has Khabib ever been on the defensive there?
Yeah.
Had to worry about. He's never had to worry about guys taking him down. He's had to worry about striking and then taking other guys down.
Ooh, it's not letting. Typically, on some people's Brandon, it just says have them join the post and then we add you. For some reason, yours isn't letting us.
Man.
Yeah, I would have liked to have got you in here.
Click on in there at the top, just like on his picture.
Okay, let's see.
Maybe hold it. Bring Brandon on camera. Brandon, if you're ready, you're coming.
We're adding you
right now.
We're adding you. Let's get your take.
You're coming.
Look at this, fans. We'll get you immersive. Corey, we're talking the MMA, buddy.
Oh, yeah, Corey, man. You missed it.
You did, bud.
You missed it. Unless you like MMA. Now we're on to the fights. So, man, Brandon, we're waiting on Brandon to get in here. Still says adding. I don't know if he's here.
Yeah,
He
I don't know. Maybe he hasn't joined
or something.
Connection failed. Brandon must not be joining. Really,
man.
Brandon? Really, Brandon?
Man.
Did you get off? Come on, man. We're gonna give you one more shot. We're
One
gonna give you one more shot because I don't want to hold up my fans too long today. Our fans are ready to get to this Buckeye game.
He's here.
You're here. It says adding. Let's go, Brandon. Let's join. Let's hear what you got to say. I did. I shot it again. I shot my shot on you again.
It says it's adding as we speak. But we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, because Trevor Whitman and them are like, we got this secret game plan. Does Gaethje try to wrestle Kahbib? I'm excited.
I would love it. Just as
Connection failed, man. I don't know what you're doing.
Just as an MMA fan, I would love to see that. Just to see the look on Khabib's face if Gaethje took him down.
Yeah.
And just like ground and pounded him, like, whoa, man.
Yep. I would love it. It's similar. Corey, shoot it to us. We'll still answer, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey, let us know.
It's similar to when everybody was like, John Jones can't take DC down. He's an Olympic wrestler, and John Jones took him down.
Yeah.
If Gaethje takes Khabib down, sorry, Brandon, I keep saying connection failed. I don't know what you've done. Yeah, I'm pumped. Probably the fight I'm most excited for, and I've got plans during.
Love it.
Somebody.
Yeah. We'll see though, man. Like I said, I think there's huge potential there. I'm just not a huge Khabib fan. I've been wanting him to lose anyway.
I'm not a Conor fan. I rooted for Conor over Khabib.
But man, so what happens here? Where do you put Khabib if he comes in and dominates Gaethje?
GSP.
Oh,
at a catchweight. Khabib already said for his 30th fight, his last fight of his career, that he wanted GSP. And Dana said for Khabib he would entertain it.
Man.
GSP versus Khabib. Now, Dana came out and was like, well, I don't know if GSP could make 155. First off, don't ever challenge GSP.
Yeah.
GSP probably could do it.
Especially cutting weight.
I don't want to see him do it, though. I would like a nice catch weight at 165. Yeah. That's what I would want.
I think that, it's tough for Khabib.
I don't need the Conor fight again. Look, Poirier and Conor are supposed to fight. Let's see. Let me see that. Let me see Poirier, Conor. Let me see where Conor's at. Let me see where Poirier's at.
Yeah.
No belt on the line's right. If they fight, no belt. But you vacate it. If they decide they want to go that route and they want to schedule Khabib GSP, vacate the belt. So when Dustin and Conor fight in January, put that belt on the line there. But
that is interesting.
Build Khabib GSP.
I think that makes sense, especially from a UFC perspective.
Yeah.
You don't want both guys, GSP and Khabib is going to be done at 30, aren't going to take that title away.
Yep.
And then you're trying to build up the return of Conor, and then you make it for a championship again.
Yep.
I think it just gives you, it makes it even.
And then if something happens where you put the belt on the line for Conor and Poirier, let's say something happens to GSP, injury, something like that, then you can resell the Conor fight with Khabib, even bigger this time with Conor's the champ again. Khabib's, GSP fell out, so Khabib just cuts some more weight. It'll be interesting. I did see on the scales, Khabib yesterday, though, had some trouble making weight. There was a lot of controversy with the way that the official did it. He never let the scales balance back out. It tipped up. He didn't let it balance back down, and he just wiped it right off. Khabib didn't officially make weight. Now, of course, he officially made weight. But there's a lot of speculation Khabib struggled this camp. Now, Gaethje's, when you watch his, it goes up, comes back down, and it doesn't keep moving. It balances. They didn't let Khabib's do that. I'm wondering if it was a weight cut, and there's no way the UFC wasn't going to have this entire fight.
Right. It just hurts you too much.
Right, because Khabib's missed weight before. So, but, yeah, man, that's all for us. Corey, you didn't throw out your starter sit question, buddy. Need 5 stars. Man. Here are my options. All right, we'll see more. Let's see. Maybe. This isn't working with me right now. It's not working. Man. Corey, send them to him individually, buddy. It's not letting me see more. Ah! What did you do?
Double click it. Switched it. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting.
Letting us see more here. I don't know. Corey, send them to us individually, buddy.
Yeah, it's not letting you do the see more option.
Yeah, this iPad. Yep.
But yeah, it'll be a crazy, crazy fight to see.
With Dr. Pepper.
It was Dr. Pepper. You got it. All right, man. What do you think? I don't know if that's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know. If you wanted to type it in like individually real fast right now, boom, and then boom. All right, nope, he's not. So, yeah, guys, I guess that'll be it for us. Corey, we were here for you, buddy. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. I know the time fluctuation varied. Apologize about that. We just had a lot going on this week, things. But we wanted to make sure we got out here. A little bit of fun coverage on the UFC. We're pumped. Thank you guys. We appreciate you tuning in this week.